Hello everybody, welcome to the first video. I wanted to just start the first video just talking about a subject. It's kind of always gets tossed around, which is how many you should carry or what you should carry. And while I talk about this, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up these guys here. These two in particular. Um, so these I'm gonna put aside. So these two got dirty from a crawl space, so we gotta clean these guys up. But one of the biggest things is that comes up when anybody carries more than one knife. They're like, oh, you only need to carry one knife. You don't need more than one. I think the amount you carry, particularly, is situational. So basically meaning in a certain situation, like let's say if you work in an office, you're really only going to need to carry one, right? You're not going to need to carry more than one, or even you're not going to really need to carry anything more than like a 3 inch, maybe even smaller, depending. And some offices don't even let you carry anything, you know, bigger than that. Anyways, but yeah, I could see like okay, having a only one if you work in an office, or if your office doesn't really allow you anything more than that. I understand that. Or like being a minimalist and only carrying one and maybe a multi-tool. That's perfectly fine. Um, but like, let's say you work outside. You're like in landscaping. You're gonna need one, and probably bigger than a 3 inch. You're looking at probably a 3.5 at the least. And then on top of that, you're probably going to be looking at carrying more than one because more than likely your coworkers, or at least one of your coworkers, is not carrying one and will in fact need one. Um, Whether it's open a bag for mulch, it doesn't really matter. He's got always that one guy that just doesn't carry one and that will always ask you for a knife. And so you got to have a knife folder that you want to hand out to someone that may or may not use it well or properly. Um, and if so, you're not really afraid that you don't really care that he's going to break it. So it doesn't have to be expensive, it can be cheap, whatever your definition of cheap is. Because everybody's definition is different. Um, and fact, so like you're going to be looking at that situation. For me, I am actually an electrician, and I also do some solar work too, but mainly just electrical. And so there are days where I want only a few because I'm going to be on a roof. There are other days where instead I would rather just have would rather have more because let's say electrical work sometimes you need a fixed blade, and so I will often carry more than one. Um, I'll carry one to give out. I'll carry one as a backup, and then I will carry one to give out, and a fixed blade for sometimes we have to actually put on some stuff for bracing for a fan or something like that, and so we have to have something a little bit more substantial for doing blocking just right. I mean, you can use the Sawzall and whatnot, yes, but more often than not, just an extra chunk out of the wood is always nice to have. Let's see, nice and clean. So that right there, I would say, in my situation, I carry at least 3 on me, folders, and then a fixed blade. Some people think that's crazy, and that's way too much. But for me, it is. We are a little tight there. So let's bring it back out here. But some people, you always get that conversation with people. Oh, you only need to, carry one. Most people would say 2 is enough. But you always, there we go. Oh, that's nice and smooth, and we are centered. This guy is nice and clean. Put him off to the side. This guy doesn't need that much cleaning. He just needs a little bit of a wipe down from all the dirt. But I get that all the time. Like if I post any picture on Instagram or anything or Facebook of me having more than one knife on me, people are like, you only really need one. You don't need more than that at all. And another one is size. I think that's another pretty big topic is size. Like, you don't need anything more than a 3-inch. Personally, here's your 3-inch right here. I think this is, for most people, more than ideal. Like, you don't need anything more than this. It's going to do pretty much everything you're going to need it to do. In all honesty, anybody working outside or in a trade specific is going to want something a little bit more substantial. So I think for most trades, 4-inch is your max. I think that's a large. So you got your small folder here. You got your medium folder here. And actually for a 4-inch, I am going to use this guy right here. So you got your 4-inch here. No, your 3-inch. Sorry about that. You got your 3-inch here. You got your 3.5-inch here. You got your 4-inch here. For most people in the trade, a 3.5-inch blade of any sort will be more than enough. You're probably going to want something a little bit more substantial, so I would always recommend like a Hendrer or a Strider. And for Strider purposes, 3-inch, we're going to look at this S&G here. That is probably one of the best overall sized knives, but it is clearly meant for utility. So you got your grip back here, which is pretty comfortable, but also allows you to get enough power behind your cut to do anything super difficult. But then you also get a choke up, so you can go ahead and carve or do more detailed precision cuts. Same here with this one, although the Hendrer XM18 here with the finger choil is, I think, at least especially with the flipper, is a little bit too small for me. Back here is fine, but I definitely think the non-flippers, which they do have those, where it's just going to be a thumb stud, are going to be way better with positions you can use your hand on. Your 3-inchers are definitely more limited, so it's good for like opening boxes, doing something simple like in an office. You're not really going to do anything too heavy with it. But as soon as you do something heavy, you're going to want something at least 3-inch with a good amount of handle, it's a good amount of blade, but you can also choke up on. And then here, your 4-inch, this is probably a size that most people in the trades would be a little bit on the, or getting really close to the excessive part. I would definitely say this is more oriented to really heavy tasks for a folder. It breaches the line of, okay, folder and then fixed blade. But you would want to use this mainly for hard tasks, and then, whatever comes up self-defense possibly wise. I do not promote any violence, period. But there is a time where use it if you absolutely have to and you have no other choice, kind of life or death situation. Other ones in the, what I would call the full-size knife, you got your small, and then the 4-inches are going to be more in your larger category. These are now for size-wise, when you're going to use these or want to carry these, are going to be more in your trade-like jobs, so plumbing, electrical, carpentry, those kind of areas of work. Definitely, I would say these are overkill for office, size-wise and just built-wise. Now, 3.5-inch blades that toe the line of what they're good for would be something like this. This is your Boos Blades Smoke. It is a front flipper. The reason why is it's very, very, very delicate. Very delicate tip. It's very thin behind the edge too. We can focus. Maybe, maybe not. Anyways, you could probably see that. Just how thin it gets behind the edge. And it's very, very, very thin overall. Like you compare this to your XM18, 3.5-inch, you're looking at substantially thicker. The only time it's not, and even with the being closed, the handle thickness is pretty substantial. And even like the blade thickness here, like you can look at that. Like these are what I would call good knives for weddings. They're more of a gentleman's carry. Something you would carry, let's say, at a wedding or church or an event that you're probably going to be wearing more dress pants or going to be more dressed up. You're not going to be in your normal everyday gear or work gear. It's going to be something a little bit slimmer, smaller pockets, It's not going to fit something like this over here. Another one that I would say toes the line even more so is going to be Benchmade Anthem. This guy, yes, it is very, 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 very capable. In fact, probably one of the most capable Benchmade folders out there that they've made. In fact, I would even argue it is their best folder for various reasons. Now, I think one of its main flaws is also its biggest selling points. Is an integral with an access lock on bearings, which makes it be able to do this with a simple letting go, letting the blade, letting the lock go, it drops. It's probably one of the most frictionless pivots I've ever dealt with or used. It just hangs so smoothly without an issue. But the problem with that is if you have someone that is not used to knives at all, doesn't know what they're holding, and you hand it to them and they try to close it normally but aren't quick enough, this could easily land on their fingers and cut them pretty good. The problem though is this one is also, the thing with this one is it's also thin, especially compared to your XM18 over here. So it's going to be thin, it's going to be easier to carry in the pocket, but it's going to be more capable. So if you're going to a nice event but want something that is more capable than your something like the Booz Blade Smoke, this guy would be a good one to go with. Size-wise overall, you're looking at ever so slightly longer. The overall length is longer than your XM18. Blade length is the same, both 3.5 inches. Another one that kind of toes the line between capable and not would be your 940, specifically the -1. This is one of the reasons why, but you can tell this guy was used at work today. But you can tell as this guy right here, the main problem we often face in the knife community when talking about knives and what knives are for, what's good, is defining what fits what role. And there's some specific folders like this one that can blur the line, where it can be a gentleman's carry, but it's very, very capable. It's going to get the job done for 90% of the people. It's just that 1% of people, or that 5% of people that work in the trade or anywhere that has anything to do with heavy use of a folder is going to need something a little bit more robust. But in the end, it is always good, like in my line of work, to have more than one. Let's say this guy and this guy. The reason why I would pick these three is 1, my heavy tasks at work, 2, my lighter, smaller tasks, and you're looking at this guy right here. Often I use this guy for food prep, or for food. So if I have any meat or anything that I need to cut, an apple, something small, I will often then, on top of that, so this guy or this guy I will hand out, this one I will not. But this one right here, I specifically will carry something like this for those customers or those people that any of these ones would scare them, but this one would not. Why? Because I can slowly open it and do what I need to do. It's not anything fast opening. Whereas this one right here, quick. It's going to be quick whether I use that or whether I use the thumb studs. Both are going to be too quick and almost, quote unquote, seem dangerous or like a weapon to some people. And when you're not sure who you're around, you want something to be delicate and slow opening, not to scare anybody. This guy here, same thing, but it's bigger. So it's going to be even more, quote unquote, terrifying to that customer, that person that needs, that would automatically say, oh, that's a weapon, why do you need that? Or possibly scare them. This one, let's just face it, anything in the 4-inch category, it is hard to open this around someone that is scared of knives and then not freak out even if you open it slowly. And you can open this one fast if you really want to. But besides the point, there's always that one person that you're gonna, or that one customer that you're gonna want to have something slow to open, regardless. And that's why I at least carry 3 to 4 folders. Now, put these guys aside, and you always want a fixed blade for anything to do with like my work. Now, this is definitely 100% not needed at an office. The only way I would recommend carrying this at an office is if you were in a sketchy part of town and you weren't sure, so you wanted to just use it for self-defense, or even as a deterrent. Like, oh, you have this on you, they're less likely to mug you, attack you, who knows what it may be. And on top of that, they might not know what else you are carrying. But to end the video, I am going to just say that there's no reason to argue how many you should carry or what you should carry, because that's often situational. So, for my line of work, yes, this guy comes in handy way more and is a way better fit than something like the 940. 940 overall is great for that one customer that you want to be able to open that box and them not to freak out, but have something also capable. Where this right here is going to be more capable for my line of work, and so is this. Now, this guy right here, I personally do not carry this at work. I will carry this on a weekend where I know I need something capable, but also want something a little bit more that is more eye candy. And you know what? Here's another thing. Some people will be like, well, why are you carrying a knife if you're not going to necessarily use it? And the next thing is because I want to. I spent my money on it, and those other people that did the same, they can do whatever they want with it. And so for me, this is a conversational starter. This is something that honestly looks beautiful that I will use if I absolutely have to. But I have this guy for hard use on the weekends. On top of that, my weekend carries consist of this right here. The oh crap, something hit, oh crap situation. This guy right here. My beater user, and then my one that I like to carry because I always like to carry it. That's my weekend carry. Now, again, this is just a conversation or a topic about what you should carry, what you shouldn't carry, and realize it's all situational. Because if I go to someone that is afraid of knives to their house to do electrical work, I don't want this. I want something more dainty, something slower, something more gentleman-like. So a 940 is good. Boost Blade Smoke, that's also good. But if I'm working outside and or working on a roughen or somewhere where there's not going to be someone that's scared of a knife, I will carry this, and often an XM18 3-inch too. But in the end, everybody needs to realize this is situational. It's often where you need something that someone in office doesn't need, and vice versa. And sometimes a job you need to carry more than one. Sometimes you need to carry three. You need your main, your backup, and then something you would hand out to someone that you know you wouldn't care about. And there are always those jobs or those days where you need a fixed blade, whether that's at work or going camping or something like that. Well, that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.